This is The After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? This is crazy. I'm so sorry. Um, well, listen, I just read the entire list of PayPal contributors. I'll read it again at some point. Oh my gosh. That's really funny. Oh man. Well, at least I didn't get 3 stories in. At least silver linings. At least I didn't get through the entire show and realize that my mic was off. Oh Lord. I'm telling you, I do need an indicator light. It's funny, the last time that happened to me was my own doing where I clicked the mute button. I had talked to somebody about I need the old radio, the red light, mic on air button. I'm telling you guys. Ugh. All right. Well, we move forward with the show. Muted the whole time. You can hear me now though, right? Yeah. We blame Mark. Always blame Mark Thompson. Absolutely. Okay. All right, let's move forward. How about we do that? Let's go into the show because now I've wasted a bunch of time with ridiculousness. I'm surprised you guys support me and even come see me. I'm so lame. All right, here we go. Let's not beat ourselves up. And by we, me, being me. Let's talk about this guy. The whole don't die thing that's happening. They had a don't die summit. It's chronicled in SF Gate. There's this California tech founder, and his name is Brian Johnson. He held this anti-aging event in San Francisco, and they had all kinds of booths and stages at this Don't Die Summit. It was not cheap to get in. Couple $100 for a regular ticket, between $400 and $500 for the VIP pass. And there's all kinds of, you know, things that you can inject and serums and powder-based foods and all of these things they say are going to stretch out your life and help you live longer. This is the event for people who are looking to, I don't know, live forever, live past 100, something. And it was well attended. The VIP tickets sold out for this. They had everything from all kinds of snake oil. One package even said, according to SF Gate, snake oil, and it was just extra virgin olive oil with the words "Don't Die" printed on t-shirts and hats. People really want to figure out a way to extend their lives. I mean, we all want to live a nice long life, right? But live forever? What is it with human beings and death? Why can't we accept that death is just a part of life? You have all these tech people pouring all this money into the immortality, how to, I guess, basically never have to leave it. They say you can't take it with you. They just don't want to ever leave it at all. There were people shouting, "I'm going to live forever," from the main stage, according to SF Gate. They had a technology, a device where it's a special pressurized system to draw blood and slow down the aging process. I mean, a lot of this seems to be snake oil to me. Crazy. Just nuts. And why do we fight so hard against it? This whole type of thing, this whole type of idea, I mean, I get you want to live healthy. Yesterday, we talked about eating blueberries. Have a cup of blueberries a day. They could have health benefits. We all want to be healthy up until the bitter end. But do you really want to live forever? Is that where we're going with this? According to SF Gate, the reporter they sent to the Don't Die Summit talked to people who genuinely want to live longer, happier lives, but also, it looked like some of the people were just looking for anything, grasping at anything. Crazy. One company claimed to have discovered the roadmap to longevity, which they have this test, which will tell you the true age of your organs. $500 a year. You pay them so they can tell you how long you're going to live. Wow. Just wild. I mean, I guess I get being afraid of death. But why don't we just accept it as part of the circle of life? Why do we have to fight tooth and nail against it? What if you live until what did we talk a couple days ago? Was it yesterday, day before? I guess it was yesterday because day before was Sunday. We talked yesterday about the life expectancy rates dropping right around 79 years old, 78, 79. So what if you hit 78, 79? Maybe, early 80s. That's a nice long life. What's wrong with that? I don't know. I read that story and I was like, man, come on. The eyes are odd. You say this guy's odd. Sandy says eternal youth would be cool, but eternal life without eternal youth, not so sure about that. You get to the point where, yeah, I mean, it's, nothing works, is right. There's aches, there's pains. And it doesn't mean that life isn't good and that there's not good to see in the world and that we shouldn't want to live as long as possible and take care of ourselves and, enjoy every last moment. But this fight to live forever, to somehow, I don't know, achieve more of a longevity than would have been our natural lifespan, that's weird. Walter, when I'm dead, I won't know that I ever lived, and I'm okay with that. William says I'm 58 and terrified of dying. I think that's normal, isn't it? I mean, nobody wants to die, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I mean, there's a normal, natural fear of death, a fear of the unknown, a fear of just not being anymore. Yeah. I know this is a great party conversation. Way to lift up everyone, Kim. But to be terrified of it, I think we have to realize that it's just part of our cycle. Yeah. John, I agree with you. When it gets to the point where someone's wiping my butt for me, that's enough. I'm out. I'm gone. Trevor, I see you, Trevor. B.A. Ware says you're wasting life by fearing death. Live in the now. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. Well said. There were some Modesto firefighters living in the now, that's for sure. They were fighting this fire, and, animals are displaced by these flames, and that includes bees. So the Modesto Fire Department, battling this vegetation fire in Stanislaus County, they faced another hazard when thousands of bees fleeing from the flames took up residence on the fire trucks. The department said on their social media page that crews from the Oakdale and Knights Ferry areas responded alongside CAL FIRE when this fire broke out along Sonora Road. So the fire was consuming grass, but there were bee boxes in the grass as well, which set free these large swarms of bees that really complicated the fire efforts. Can you imagine? You're out there with your heavy gear, and then you've got all these bees, angry bees that are trying to fly away from the fire. Firefighters shared photos like this of bees swarming on their trucks while they were fighting this fire. And the fire crews said, despite these obstacles, crews were swift and coordinated in their response, and they contained this fire to just 1.6 acres in under 15 minutes. Way to go. Showcasing their dedication, their skill, and their adaptability, or their ability to adapt to challenges. That's certainly a challenge. No major injuries reported here. Several firefighters had some bee stings to take care of afterward. The crews used the water to convince the insects to move off the trucks at the end. So that's kind of unexpected. I'm sure this kind of thing has happened before. I've never seen it. Never seen anything like this. But yeah. Can you imagine? You're out there fighting the fire and that's what you have to contend with? Whew. Well, we're in September, but we're also in kind of what I look at. Maybe it's because of the school season, it seems like fall to me. But we're in, I would say, the waning days of summer. And I found this video that I thought was super cute. And this is a bear kind of enjoying the beach. See if I can find it again. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Now we have to wait through the ad. That's okay. We'll do that. This bear is so cute. I mean, unless you're a beachgoer, right? Then maybe not so cute. But check it out. Uh-oh. Might have to watch the ad again. There he is. And the video from USA Today. Check it out. On a California beach. This beach is packed. Jam-packed. And look at everyone. And they're kind of backing away from this bear. Don't want to be anywhere near this. But there's a lot of people around. We've got the little paddle boats and everything. And here comes this bear. This happened at South Lake Tahoe. This creature caught on camera just kind of wandering down the beach, hanging out. The folks that took the video were on a trip. When they saw this bear walking along the shoreline, really hot day, he wanted to cool off as well. So, kind of cute. He walked around the pedal boat and the other things blocking the path. And everyone kept a safe distance. It was all okay. And then he just kind of wandered off at the end. Not super uncommon in Lake Tahoe, but definitely maybe an excitement to the beach day right there. Ooh, goodness. Let's talk about what happens to all the stuff at Target and at Costco when it doesn't sell. This is not something I've really ever considered before. What do they do with it all? Apparently, there are these secondhand stores that take all the things left behind from Costco and from Target, and they sell them at a super, super steep discount. Wow. They call these stores discreet. They sell them for super cheap. They're in Southern California. They're in the Bay Area. And I had never even heard of them before. I read this article in SF Gate. All over the state, these warehouses or salvage stores are reselling overstock or discontinued or even returned items from Target or Costco at a huge, huge discount. There are more of them in Southern California than Northern, but there's a couple. They're called Twice as Nice. One's in Half Moon Bay, one's in San Bruno. They sell appliances, furniture, school supplies, often for 50% off or more. Did you know? I had no idea this was going on. No idea. What they do is they bid these stores on surplus items from Costco or from Target. They'll buy 5 or 6 pallets of goods and then they bring it into their stores and they sell it at huge, huge discounts. In some cases, the packages are just dented or ripped. And so they can't be put back on the shelves at Costco or Target. So they have these liquidation sites that people find these great deals. Who knew? The article in SF Gate details these crazy, crazy deals on things that you would see at Costco that would cost you, $500 or $600 for almost nothing at these discount outlets. So the further south near San Diego and Los Angeles, lots of these outlets, they say they're giving the inventory a second life. They sell the Kirkland pantry goods for as much as 98% off. Wow. I didn't know about this. If you knew, kudos to you, but I had no idea. So check out the story in SF Gate if you're living near one of these places, again, in the Bay Area, Half Moon Bay and San Bruno, all over Southern California, but they have some of the locations of these stores. So this is an interesting story about a guy who had got this face transplant. Not only the skin, but also an eye, a whole eye, at New York University. You can't see, I'm like holding my eye. This patient underwent the world's first whole eye and partial face transplant. And after more than a year, the doctors say he's healed astonishingly. They reported on this surgery done at NYU's Langone Health in New York City, Langone or Langone. And it's all in the Journal of the American Medical Association from this week. And the researchers are calling these results remarkable because helping people with catastrophic facial injuries, including the loss of eyeballs, has been really challenging. You never quite look right? But they say this procedure was a huge success. So they hope it's the first of many significant hurdles that they can cross on their way to restore sight with eye transplants. This transplanted donor eye did not allow this man to reacquire vision, but they say the eye continues to display normal pressure and blood flow, which is huge. And that's an improvement over whole eye transplants done in animals where the eye often decreases dramatically in size. So getting blood supply to that eye was a logistical hurdle before this. Also, they say a test measuring the retina's electrical response to light revealed that the light-sensitive nerve cells in the eye also survived this transplant. So it's another step, they say, in paving the way for whole eye transplants with the goal of eventually being to restore sight. A lot of people in on this. 140 doctors, nurses, other healthcare professionals all working together on this. So this man sustained severe injuries in a high voltage electrical accident. He had a job as a lineman in Oklahoma. He was in a coma for 6 weeks, lost his left eye, his left eyelid, his nose, his lips, a large volume of facial tissue, including the skin and muscles that control facial expressions. So they removed his damaged eye, and they said they felt the whole eye transplant and the partial face transplant would be worth it. A lot of ethics involved in this, but they said the risk of jeopardizing or losing vision to the other eye, they had a very low chance of that this transplanted eye would have worthwhile vision, but they decided to go ahead with it. The man says, with me trying this, even if it didn't work, the doctors were still going to learn some valuable information, so he said I was all for it. If nothing else, it would help people down the road. What a cool attitude that is. And he might not look the same, but he doesn't look bad. So, well done. This story reminds me of the song my son used to sing in preschool, Baby Beluga. This is the world's first, I guess you could say, airplane shaped like a beluga whale. It's an Airbus Beluga, and it landed at London's Heathrow Airport, uh, carrying parts for a British Airways plane that's been grounded since another plane collided with it in April. It's an unusually shaped plane. It's an Airbus Beluga, of course, named after the sea creature that it resembles. And it was, yeah, it's very interesting looking. This baby beluga, this beluga. And again, delivering spare parts to repair a damaged plane. It's going to return later today. This beluga is a massive cargo aircraft, and it's designed to carry aircraft parts or large cargo. Airbus currently operates a fleet of 6 beluga planes, and I had never seen them before. I had never seen anything like this. But I thought that was pretty cute. A beluga Airbus. Look at that. We've talked about night owls before on this show. And there's a new study that shows night owls are more prone to type 2 diabetes. That folks that like to stay up late are nearly 50% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than people that go to bed at an earlier hour. Not just because they have an unhealthy lifestyle, according to the findings presented at the annual meeting of the European Association for the Study of Diabetes. They had that in Madrid. They say that increased risk of type 2 diabetes for night owls remained even after researchers accounted for other unhealthy lifestyle factors like maybe poor diet, lack of exercise, drinking, smoking, poor sleep, all these extra things that may happen at night. The likely explanation? Circadian rhythm or body clock, out of sync with the work and social schedules followed by society. This according to researchers with the Leiden University Medical Center in the Netherlands. They say this whole staying up late thing can lead to circadian misalignment, which can lead to metabolic disturbances and ultimately to type 2 diabetes. They looked at the health data of more than 5,000 people that participated in an ongoing study on the influence of body fat on disease. And that included the typical bed and waking times for each person, along with lifestyle factors that could increase your risk. They said previous studies indicated a late chronotype, preferring to go to bed late and wake up later, is associated with an unhealthy lifestyle. Late chronotypes are more likely to smoke or have an unhealthy diet, and it's been suggested this is why they are at higher risk of obesity, including type 2 diabetes. During a follow-up of about 6 years, 225 of the people were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. An analysis showed night owls had a 46% higher risk of type 2 diabetes even after their lifestyle habits were taken into account. Early birds did not have statistically significant increased risks of diabetes, nor did people who had average sleep patterns. They say people who stay up late tend to have higher body mass index, larger waists, more hidden body fat as well. Like 14% higher liver fat content compared with people that have an average sleep pattern. For all these reasons, night owls are more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. They say that night owls might be able to improve their health by altering the timing of meals. So if you have a late chronotype, you like to stay up later, you're more likely to eat until later in the evening. You're more likely, to eat later as well, is what they're saying. So they didn't measure that in their study, but they say there's growing evidence that time-restricted eating, not eating anything after a certain time, like after 6 p.m., could lead to some metabolic benefits. So even if you like to stay up late, there may be some things that you can do to prevent it. You talk about, this is a weird story. Maybe you can help me understand it. The story is about Ford, the motor company. They just filed a new patent for a car with a holographic design, including police officers and guard dogs. It's part of a security measure. Interesting. They have this vision of using a holographic technology to create digital representations of police officers and guard dogs to deter would-be criminals. This is far off in the future, but they're filing the patent for it now. The patent filing details how multiple integrated holographic camera modules could be used to create movable and interactive holograms inside and outside the vehicle. Now, will Ford actually do this and try to put these in their vehicles? We don't know. But apparently this lays out scenarios in which these digital projections could be used to ward off unwanted visitors, possibly car thieves, what have you. I don't think that a hologram is going to deter a car thief. I mean, maybe it's just me. That's why I'm hoping you can help me understand this. I mean, you see this hologram, I'm thinking of sci-fi holograms in like Star Trek or whatever. And they're usually see-through. You can tell it's not a real person standing there, right? I mean, unless the technology gets better. I don't know. But it seems like you just walk right through it, head straight to the car and steal it anyway. The patent includes the description of a massive hologram polar bear with its head sticking out of the car. Is this not a little strange? The patent explores the use of holograms projected on both the exterior and the interior of the vehicle. For the exterior, the examples include illustrations of a digital police officer standing beside the parked vehicle. The hypothetical car could have multiple integrated holograms, including cameras, projectors, computing components that would work in tandem to beam out some kind of projection without any noticeable distortions. Drivers could initiate the hologram system by looking at the car and giving it a thumbs up. I don't know. I don't understand how this is going to work. The holograms are created by using a reflecting laser and light waves to project an image onto the surface. The result of this practice, an image that appears three-dimensional to a viewer without the need for special viewing equipment. I don't know if this is going to help save your car. What do you think? Do you think, is a hologram going to deter a thief? John says it might look kind of spooky at night. Eric says the patent office is broken, obviously. It worked in Total Recall, says Trevor. You never know. How much would it cost? Well, it's all kind of theoretical right now. Instead, you could use the club and security cameras and also a big dog. Absolutely. SF Tesla, those egg-shaped mall bots hardly seem dangerous until the taser hits you. It's weird. It's weird. House of Mirrors security tech, says B.A. Ware. Kind of seems like it. Can you file a patent for a technology that doesn't exist yet? Yeah, maybe like an intellectual patent, right? You have this idea that you want to protect. Maybe you don't have it all ironed out yet, but you have an idea of a car security tech hologram. They did it, so I assume it's okay. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's weird. Yes, it is. Is this drawing part of the official patent? It looks like it was drawn by an 8-year-old. I believe it is. There are others in this story that are equally as weird. Drawings of dogs, you pointing at your car. I'll show you another one. It doesn't compute to me that this is going to deter anyone. That even if the technology improved and was better than what we're seeing here, it seems like you would know. Thieves would know, oh, that's just the Honda security Tesla, or the Honda security police officer, that people would know. Here's another drawing. Yeah. You just give your car a thumbs up and all the holograms pop out inside and out. It's weird. Maybe this is the wave of the future, and I have to see it to understand it. It just seems goofy to me. I don't know. Yeah, this is the security hologram in your Ford. This is an interesting story about ways in which, and we are talking a little bit on the Mark Thompson show earlier about ways to fight rising temperatures, right? Things we have to do differently, like maybe not running a race in 110-degree heat, maybe not taking a trip to the desert in the middle of the summer as temperatures rise and things become more dangerous and we have to change the way we do things. Well, this designer has come up as a British engineer, actually, who has come up with a way to paint the outside of windows with yogurt. Yes, yogurt, as a low-cost, low-energy solution to keep homes cool during heat waves. And there he is. He's painting it on, the yogurt, with a roller. He said it dries very quickly, and it creates this kind of frosted glass effect. And it then reflects light and heat in much the same way as other energy-efficient window coating projects do as well. Except you can wash it off when you don't want it there anymore. And there it is. They've painted the windows, you can see there, with yogurt to help keep everything cool. The engineer says the yogurt is easy to apply. It doesn't smell or attract insects. It doesn't degrade unless there's a heavy rain. It can be washed off simply with a cloth and water once the heat wave is over. So he's launching this heat wave toolkit, which includes low-cost do-it-yourself cooling solutions for your house. He says there are some great products and architectural inventions on the market that can retrofit buildings to ward off heat. He said most are currently inaccessible to many people. He says he's put green roofs and all the landscaping elements in, specified external shading, deep window reveals, moving external shades. He said they're all very useful, but a lot of people just don't have the agency to actually do that. So this yogurt would be a solution for people who rent, people who live in conservation areas that don't allow any changes to their buildings, people who can't afford maybe these specially designed products, right? So what do you think? Would you put yogurt on your window? The way he's done it, it doesn't look bad. And I like the idea of when a heat wave is over, just being able to hose it down and wash it all off and see through the window again. At my house, there may be in the North Bay 1 or 2 weeks a year where the temperature rises to over 100, and it's really, really hot, unbearably so. And I have this window in my kitchen that's you call it like a bump out window, where you can put plants and things. It's in the kitchen. And it gets really hot in this window. So we have in the past taken a towel to drape it over that bump out window. It doesn't look pretty, but after the week is over, you take the towel down. This is probably preferable to that. As long as it doesn't attract bugs. I mean, it's a food product, so you would think that creatures would be, landing on the window and licking it. But he says no. I think it's a cool thing, a do-it-yourself thing, super cheap, able to help your electricity bills come down a little bit. Mountain Bike Fan says some people have outside blinds they put down in the heat and the sun. Yeah, that's smart. Also says I've seen people with car window shields in their windows. Yeah, definitely. Can you use non-fat yogurt? Yes, I think. I don't know. Russian yogurt might be a problem. Lori says yogurt's not cheap. Possibly, though, cheaper than hiring a company to come out and put some type of film or buying a special expensive window, that has multiple panels that keep out the heat. Could be a cheaper fix. Rev P says they once tried to have milk-based paint for environmental reasons. The house painted with it ended up stinking really bad on hot days. Ew! I can imagine. Yogurt? Regular yogurt? Yeah, it seems like regular yogurt. Regular yogurt is what they're saying. A yogurt coating he said he learned this about this yogurt coating from an anecdote that he heard early in his career, and his engineering career involves coming up with strategies to that are green and sustainable type of strategies. He's kind of an environmental engineer. Uh, he said that someone suggested to him pouring yogurt over a building's glass roof because the client was complaining about the roof trapping the heat in the summer. And that's kind of the first time he heard about it. And so he thought about it over the years and considered whether or not that would work. And so while he was thinking up plans for this heat wave toolkit, he decided to investigate and found out that there is actually a precedent for using yogurt as a window coating in the United States, with people using it to create privacy screens and even window art as well. And in both of those instances, the painters applied the yogurt to the inside of the windows, but documented the results dried to a robust finish that seemed permanent until it was washed off and it wasn't permanent. So, I don't know. He said he tested a variety of yogurts, including dairy and oat, and found that they all worked much the same, with only about a tablespoon of product required per window, and lower fat yogurts giving a more translucent effect. That answers the fat question, right? If you want to see through it a little more, use the low fat yogurt. He said it was half as effective as a ceramic frit, but that it would be a game changer in terms of keeping the heat out of homes. He said it might not look like a conventional design solution, but it's all about adapting to what we have around us and making do in response to an environmental crisis. So you do what you can. I mean, if you're in the middle of a heat wave, and it's uncomfortable or dangerous to your health, you do what you can to help cool things down inside. Yogurt on the window. I'm telling you. If you're interested in this, trying it out, exploring it, reading more about it, search for Dezeen, Dezeen, and yogurt, and you'll find the article that way. Dezeen. I love this website. It's all about design. It's where I found the benches the other day. They have some really cool designs and technology, new technology on that website. I really like it a lot. All right. Guess what it's time for? Woohoo! You ready to go? I almost didn't have time for it. It is Travel Tuesday. Yay! And due to a request, we're going to Yellowstone. I'm listening. You ask, I answer. And this is where we're going today. We're going to Yellowstone. Check it out. Pretty beautiful. I found this website with the 18 best things to do in Yellowstone National Park. And of course, the first one, we get rid of our Travel Tuesday picture, is going to be this. This is on the bucket list for Yellowstone. And it is Old Faithful. A lot of times people hear Old Faithful or Yellowstone, and the first thing they think of when they hear Yellowstone is Old Faithful. It is the world's most famous geyser. It's been erupting for a long time on a very regular schedule. Really reliable. So you can get expected eruption times online to help you plan your visit. It erupts about every hour and 30 minutes, give or take 10 minutes. Sometimes it pushes itself to 2 hours, but it's right around here. They say there are different ways to see this. You can grab a seat on the boardwalk that surrounds the geyser, and I can scroll back. Here's the boardwalk that surrounds the geyser. Pretty crowded there. There you go. You can see everybody around there. So that's one way to do it. And they say you need to get there 20 to 30 minutes before the eruption because it gets really packed. You can hike to the observation point for a bird's eye view, and that has it's less crowded, much less crowded up there. It's about a 1 mile round trip to hike it. It's a short, strenuous walk uphill to get to that viewing area, but you can have a picnic lunch while you're waiting. They say it's pretty fun. You can take a seat at the viewing deck at the Old Faithful Inn, get a drink at the bar, have a seat, and enjoy the view. That's kind of more my speed. There it is. There they are up at the they've hiked, so they're looking down on it. And here they are with the observation deck having a drink at the bar. Sold. I'm all for the bar. They say if you get lucky, Old Faithful could erupt right when you get there, or you could get there within minutes of an eruption. So you could plan to spend as long as 20 minutes to 2 hours there. But having the picnic up at the hike is pretty fun. Number 2, Upper Geyser Basin and Geyser Hill. Within a square mile at Yellowstone, there are 150 geothermal features. They say this makes this one of the very best places. Look at that. What a cool walk. I mean, that's wow. Incredible. I accept. Yes. And again, all this is from the website Earth Trekkers, if I didn't mention that. But it's one of the best places in the park to see the hot springs, the geysers, and the thermal pools. And though Old Faithful is the main attraction, there's a lot of things that you can see and do in this area. It takes a couple hours to walk the boardwalk trails in the Upper Geyser Basin and the hiking trail to Geyser Hill. You can combine this with watching Old Faithful and then go for a walk along the boardwalks and see everything else. Super cool. One of the things to see is called Solitary Geyser. Unfortunately, this is an uphill walk. But wow, look what you see when you get there. It's a dirt trail from Old Faithful. Most eruptions occur 4 to 8 minutes apart and last about 1 minute. There's also the Castle Geyser, which is a cone geyser. Now, this one's a little more complicated. It erupts every 10 to 12 hours. There it is, Castle Geyser. It erupts every 10 to 12 hours, and it lasts for about 20 minutes. So you can see it at a distance, but apparently it's really interesting to see. This one is super cool. It's called the Morning Glory Pool, and it's a long, long walk to get there. But look at that. Wow. The colorful pool, one of the prettiest features in the Upper Geyser Basin. So beautiful and interesting to look at inside. All the colors, incredible. The next thing is the Grotto Geyser. What an interesting formation this is. It only erupts once every 8 hours. But look how interesting. Once it gets going, they say the eruption can go anywhere from 10 minutes to several hours. You never know what you're going to get with this one. So that's pretty cool. The next one is the Grand Prismatic Spring and Midway Geyser Basin. They say this Grand Prismatic Spring is one of Yellowstone's most colorful, vibrant hot springs. It's a rainbow-colored thermal pool. Without a doubt, one of the best things to do at Yellowstone National Park. Check that out. How cool is that? That's beautiful. The largest hot spring in the United States. Vibrant colors, the result of microbial life along the edges of the hot spring. And the colors, they say, can change depending on the presence of different microbes and the temperature of the water. What you're looking at here is the Midway Geyser Basin, which is along the trail to the Grand Prismatic Spring. So you'll see a few smaller hot springs in this area: Excelsior Geyser Crater, the Opal Pool, the Turquoise Pool. The boardwalk trail is the only way to get here. But look, I mean, what amazing things you see along this pathway. Check that out. That's gorgeous. I mean, wow. This, by the way, is the Grand Prismatic Spring. Incredible. I think we need to put this one on our bucket list, guys. Look at that. Again, the colors change depending on the temperature and the microbes. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And special. They say you can drive to this area, but the parking is really bad. So it's become a big issue because there's so many crowds in this area. There's just not enough places to park your car for all the visitors that are flocking here. So they have parking availability websites that give you real-time updates on the conditions of parking at Yellowstone National Park's website. This is an incredible picture. This is the overlook for the Grand Prismatic Spring. Check this out. I mean, wow. What a view. Beautiful. They call it jaw-dropping. On a sunny day, especially, the colors are absolutely spectacular. It's a little less than a mile, zero point 0.8 of a mile to get to this overlook, 1.6 miles round trip total. The trail can be walked with GPS devices so you can kind of figure out where you are. They say it starts off wide and flat, and then it gets to a little bit of an uphill thing that's a little more strenuous on a dirt trail. But so, so pretty. The best time to visit this and to view it is on a sunny day, midday on a sunny day, where the colors are brilliant, the morning steam has lifted, but that also, unfortunately, is the most crowded time, because here's what it looks like after the steam is lifted, and here's what it looks like before the steam is lifted. So it's a little harder to see all the colors and the beauty in this area. So you want to go around midday is what they're saying. Something else to see in this area is called Fairy Falls. Look at that beautiful waterfall. Fairy Falls, they say, is one of Yellowstone's tallest waterfalls. You can only get there by hiking. So they say it's easy to combine a visit to Fairy Falls with the Grand Prismatic Spring overlook. So beautiful. And you know what? If you're not in physical condition where you can hike all of this, then at least we're doing it now and checking it out. So it's kind of like we've been there virtually. Also on the list, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. For thousands of years, the Yellowstone River has been carving out this canyon. Numerous overlooks and hiking trails. They say it's very easy to spend at least half a day here. And here's what you're going to see. Look at that. Pretty beautiful. Yeah. There are two rims here, the north rim and the south. And from these two rims, you can visit scenic overlooks. The hikes are short, but they're sometimes pretty strenuous. They say it's worth visiting both sides of the canyon to get this full experience. What you're looking at here is the brink of the lower falls. You've got to walk about a half mile to get to this. It's mostly downhill, but then it's a strenuous walk back up. But they say it's worth it for this close-up view of the lower falls. It thunders over the edge. They say that the sound is amazing. Then there's the lookout point from the north rim, which offers the best view of the lower falls. That's pretty beautiful. Look at that. Incredible. I'm feeling, we're doing this virtually. I'm feeling more in touch with nature right now. I'm telling you what. Like the brink of the lower falls, they say you can hike down into the canyon for an awesome view of lower falls as well. And look at that. I mean, wow. What a picture. So pretty. This is Red Rock Point in this area, and again, a view of the lower falls. There's also a place called Inspiration Point where you can make out lower falls far off in the distance. You'll see this in the back of the picture. Check this out. So you can kind of see way back here, kind of a little bit top down, the lower falls, but look how beautiful that is. So pretty. They say if you're short on time, skip the Grand View and the Inspiration Point, but don't miss the brink of the lower falls. And the view from the lookout point is really worthwhile as well. And then we've got the South Rim as well. So they say if you only have time to visit the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone from one rim, Earth Trekkers, they recommend the South Rim because that's what you're going to see at the South Rim. So beautiful. Really cool. And then there's the Lamar Valley, hailed as being the best spot to view wildlife in Yellowstone. Bison, elk, pronghorn, bear, coyotes, wolves, all known to make appearances in the Lamar Valley. Wow. The best times for wildlife viewing in the morning and in the evening. There are herds of bison that can be seen here, bear, deer. You say it's really incredible. Best place to see the wildlife in this area. Here's some more pictures of that. There you can see him. He's in there. Just, long lines of cars, lots of traffic, but you can see the herds of elk there. That's the Lamar Valley at sunset. Oh, beautiful. It's in North Yellowstone. They say it's a long ride to get there, but it's definitely worth it. The next one pictured here is called Trout Lake. While you're in the Lamar Valley, they say consider hiking to Trout Lake. Really pretty lake. It's a short uphill hike through a forest. Because it's bear country, you do need to hike in groups or bring your bear spray. They say they didn't get lucky enough to see bears, but they said it's really, really cool. There they are, hanging out in the Hayden Valley. It's between the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone and Yellowstone Lake. It's easier to get here, but also a lot more crowded. So, the folks that at Earth Trekkers say they drove through Hayden Valley twice. The first time they saw 2 bison and a small herd, and the second time they hit the jackpot, a huge herd hanging out right along the roadside. They said they spent an hour there just watching the bison from their car. How cool is that? I mean, what an incredible view. Check this out. There they are, just hanging out there right on the side of the roadway. Don't get too close. Don't be a Turon. You know how it goes. But wow, what an experience. Sometimes you do have to back up and make sure that you give the wildlife space because they do encroach and you don't want to get in their way. You're in their home. And you got to be careful of that. Look at all the cars just kind of waiting for them. That's what you do. Some beautiful pictures of these creatures. Look at that. Wow, incredible. Yep. I say yes. And then there's Dunraven Pass. Doesn't it look kind of desolate at Dunraven Pass? Dunraven Pass has gorgeous views of the park, overlooks, turnouts where you can stop and enjoy the view in this area. You can also hike to the peak of Mount Washburn. Now there's the peak of Mount Washburn. Beautiful. Then there's Mammoth Hot Springs. This is incredible. It's a large complex of hot springs located in North Yellowstone where hot steaming water spills out of travertine terraces. How interesting is that? What a cool thing to see. It's one of the most unique geothermal areas of the park. Here's some other pictures of it. Wow. Really incredible. Then there's the Roosevelt Arch. Can't go to Yellowstone without seeing the Roosevelt Arch. When this park first opened, the north entrance was the main entrance to the park, and in 1903, this stone arch was erected. So people would travel here by train and then take horse-drawn carriages into the park. This cornerstone of the arch was laid down by President Theodore Roosevelt. The inscription at the top of the arch reads, "For the benefit and the enjoyment of the people." Don't forget, while you're in Yellowstone, to check out Boiling River Hot Springs. I mean, I don't know if I want to go into the Boiling River. No, it's a naturally occurring hot spring where you can go swimming. It's a natural hot tub, a popular swimming hole. It was closed when it flooded in 2022, so you have to make sure that it's still open when you go. There's some beautiful places. There's another place here called Black Basin, and it's here where the Steamboat Geyser is located. It's the world's tallest active geyser, the Steamboat active geyser. There it is, right there. Yeah. And again, the Steamboat Geyser, unpredictable eruptions, but it can spew hot steaming water more than 300 feet in the air. You got to stand back. Old Faithful, 180 100 to 185 feet. This one, 300 feet. So, and look at the blue of this pool. Oops. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Porcelain Basin. I only have time for a couple more because I don't want to keep you guys too late. But check out Porcelain Basin. That's another stop along our Yellowstone tour today. Beautiful. And again, they have built these boardwalks where you can just walk along and see all these incredible things as you walk along this fairly level boardwalk that doesn't look too strenuous in this area. And you see things, that are just amazing as you walk along. Then there's the West Thumb Geyser Basin. This is pretty easy to see, and the hot springs here are brilliantly blue. Wow, that's gorgeous. They say the Abyss Pool is the highlight, but that it's really cool to see the geothermal activity right along the edge of Yellowstone Lake as well. So, lastly, I'll show you the Artist Paint Pots. It's just north of Norris Geyser Basin. They call it Artist Paint Pots, a small area that contains several hot springs and mud pots as well. And here's what that looks like. I almost don't want to leave that blue. There it is, the Artist Paint Pots. It's, they say, really worth seeing. You see several hot springs, you see mud pots. There's a view from the upper boardwalk trail, and you can see the bubbling mud pots down below. Pretty cool. There's a fountain paint pot trail as well. You can see all 4 of the major hydrothermal features found in this park. And it's a pretty good walk. How cool is that? Beautiful. And then there's the Tower Falls. There's some other things to see. The Beartooth Highway. I'll end on the Beartooth Highway because that picture's so pretty. And there you go. We have virtually been to Yellowstone together, and I am so thankful for the recommendation and seeing these incredible things with you today. I hope that you found it a little relaxing, and seeing a little beauty in the world helps you de-stress a little bit as we move into what's coming tonight, which is the presidential debate. And I hope it's a good one. I hope that Kamala Harris finds a way. It's just hours away now. Please make sure to join us on the Mark Thompson Show tomorrow. We will have Anthony Davis on the show. John Rothman will be on the show. David K. Johnston will be on the show. So we're really going to wrap up this debate as we look forward to, what really is the remaining days of the election after this debate. Whether it would sway the 30% of undecided voters, still unbelievable to me, is anyone's guess. So we'll find out. What I was saying earlier is that I haven't had time. My daughter, who's now my new videographer, has had a lot of homework, so she hasn't had time to update the video, which I will play. But I did want to make note of all the people who have contributed via PayPal to this show. And they include, over the last month, Suanne S. Is my microphone on? Look at that. Suanne S., Susan S., Deidre L., Chris H., Kathy O., Martha D., Sarah K., Delette Z., Karen C., Carrie Q., Mary Zane, I love your name, Mary Zane, it's sassy. Wes T. repeatedly, Carol S., Chris O., Pamela K., Gretchen L., Jane O., James S.L. and James S.H., Laura W., Linda G., Joyce M., Joe F., Deborah S., Karen K., Donald S., Janet W., Ms. Organic, Harold H., Kathleen G., Lee S., who I know listens via the podcast, and I'm going to try to do better at describing things rather than just, ooh, look at that, isn't it cool? So I'll do better at that. Mark reminded me today that I have to pretend I'm still on the radio. Ricky F., Robin F., Jennifer L., Susan D., Heather K., William B., Vivian T., Gary D., Nancy V., just a couple more, Tony C., Lori F., and Daniel D. from the bar, Meredith D., Maureen Z., Scott R., Yvonne B., John R., and Janet R., Murphy R., and Julie S. Huge thank you. That's 51 supporters, 51 people that really keep this show going. Huge thank you to you. I really am so grateful, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you for bearing with me as I read the list of current contributors to this show. Ooh, the crater pool looks great. Beautiful. Love to see your comments. John says, if I could live in Vancouver, but if Trump wins, I don't know if Canada will be safe. You think he's going to spread his reach to Canada? Oh no. Yikes. Oh, Deidre says, good idea. We should have a meetup at the Red Jack in San Francisco. Absolutely. Got to have yourself a kamikaze. Beautiful. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, 11 a.m. I will be on time. It'll be good. And I'll see you then on the after party live as well. Until then, I hope you guys make it a really great day. Thank you so much for being here, and happy debate watching. Ugh.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Oh, I love that. Thanks, BA.